Okay, so this video I'm going to walk through the online demo we have of the LucidView Enforcer. Now the LucidView Enforcer, of course, is the product name we have given. This is a white labeled solution so that you are able to provide your own name and your own branding so that you are able to provide this to your clients. But for our demo, I'm going to keep referring it to the product as an enforcer. Now, the idea is that each of your clients or departments have an enforcer profile. And we show you in the next video how enforcer profiles are set up and configured. But this is the power that your clients can enjoy. This is the login dashboard. As you log in, it gives you an idea as to what is current, what filters have been activated, and therefore it determines an estimate of what your security profile is. In other words, are you blocking malware and suspicious traffic, etc. And the more secure you want the network or the internet traffic to be, the more you block, basically. And that just gives you a nice little report as you log in. So first thing I'm going to do is let's go to the category blocking portion. Here are the categories. I'm not going to spend too much time on the categories, but you can choose which ones you want to block, which ones you don't want to block. And of course, the beauty about this is they are time-based rules also available to your clients on this on these categories. So for example, you can say please block Facebook after 6 p.m. at night and allow it again at 8 in the morning, and that gets done at the bottom here by manage time-based rules. So in here there's a couple of blocks already added for you to demonstrate, and one can add and remove as many as one wants to toggle the time-based rules, as it were. Something to keep in mind, the categories that are very unique to us is the suspicious category and the ability to manage torrents and block torrents over here. Suspicious is a highly effective way of disconnecting remote access into your network that, combined with blocking risk, really reduces the ability of remote hackers to be able to get into the network and plant ransomware. For kids or schools or just normal business activity, gambling and gaming and adult content and maybe movies are typical blocks that are often implemented in such environments. The idea is that clean internet can be defined as per the requirement of your client. Now you can either set up profiles on behalf of your client, or you can give your client access to this portal, which will of course have your name in it, as I discussed in the next video, and they can log in and configure their portal, their profile on your portal as they need. Let's go back home, and now I'm going to touch on the reporting component. Very powerful reporting comes into play with this enforcer. We can have a look at a couple of general reports. This is just general on categories or domains. It tells you, in other words, it's destination-based reports. What's been going on, for the client as a whole. Specific users, that would be to look at specific IPs in the network, and you want to drill into that. And then over here, if you want to drill into a specific category, let me demonstrate. Let's go into a general report over here. Here's an option. I can pull a category report, and let's choose a category report for the previous week. And I'm going to create this report over here. Now, over here is the report. Note all of this green and the logos and your banners, your customized banners and logos will be added to this report, as well as the host name will be under your domain. So when your clients get this, now remember, clients can either log into the portal to get the reports like this, or it gets emailed to them. So here's a typical type of report showing how much bandwidth was used, showing a total of how many gigs was downloaded for that week, as I said, the previous week. Here's a breakdown of what type of traffic was, which of the categories was being traversed, and this is demo data, of course, so you can see there's a lot of Google and Microsoft type applications running in this particular example. There's a pie chart where you can break it down and see what it is. Oh, we saw a little bit of movies over here. Maybe we can do a drill down on the movies for you. So we saw 4.5 gigs of movies. Okay, let's have a look at trying to figure out what are the movies that we are looking at over here. So we can go to the general So let's go back to the reporting hub. We can go the detailed category report over here, and let's say show me what are the movies for the last week, if I want to drill down into that more. And here you can go generate a report. And here it is. Now it's just the movies part. It's a filter of just movies. There's the 4.5 gigs of movies. And here's the domains of the movies that were downloaded and how many gigs per movie. And as you can see, that's the report has been provided there. So let's go back to the reporting hub. What we could also do is we can say, show me a general device report. In other words, but before I show you the general device report, I want to set up familiar devices over here. So a client does have the ability to log in and add as many familiar names as they want. Now, this is a demo device, so it's kind of a little bit fake, some of the data, but it gives you the idea of what's going on. So here's an example of an IP that has been configured. Let's have a look at some of the reports that we can pull on this device. Okay, let me get back to my reporting over here and go to general reports, and I shall pull a general device report for the previous week like this. Okay, again, remember all your logos as the IT company or the IT department can be put on top over here. Or if you want to, you can even put your client's logos in there. But yeah, there are many options. Here's an example of the various configured devices. It will be IP addresses if you haven't configured it. Otherwise, it has friendly names like this. So we can see Andrew iPhone and Jane PC. It looks like a Roku player, whatever it is that you've just, or the client has decided to define. Look at this. Andrew iPhone is 26%. Here's another breakdown of 65 gigs during that week period over here. So here's a report. I know I'm going quite quickly, but please, you can log into this portal and play around at your heart's content whenever you want to. Let's go look up Andrew's iPhone. I'm quite curious what's happening over there. Also, through the menu on the top right, one can go to reporting. That's another way of getting there. Let's look at a specific user report, and next. Now, this actually pulls out the DHCP list of the MikroTik router. If it is actually a DHCP server, otherwise you're going to have to just add the IP manually yourself. There is the IP of Andrew iPhone. Let's get the report for that, and let's also do the previous week, and let's compile that report. And let's see what the Andrew iPhone did. Here it says specific report for that IP address. And here it is. Let's see what it did. It did 65 gigs as we saw in the other report. And here it is, Microsoft and Google apps and mainly Microsoft updates, etc. And here it gives you a good idea of what it was. And here's the top domains as well in this particular report. So I have rushed through the reports, but I hope I give you a good idea on how powerful that is. Now there's the next part, is that all these reports I've shown you, you can actually set up on an email schedule that they literally can be sent out on a daily, weekly or monthly basis. You can choose which reports it is, or the client, your client, can log in and choose which ones to do. Now all of this is up to your company as to what do you want to expose your clients to. Do you want to give them access to the full portal, or do you want your support team to do this on your client's behalf? It all depends on your environment. But I hope I'm giving a good idea as to the power you have here with the Enforcer profile. A couple of other things that we get over here. There's fair share. Fair share is very useful. In other words, this is a way of sharing bandwidth in a client's environment. A lot of home users or Wi-Fi hotspots and cafes love this feature, because if there's a limited amount of bandwidth and somebody's, say, watching Netflix or YouTube, that can actually jam up the experience for everybody else. With fair share, it fairly and equally shares the bandwidth across the network so that they all have responsive internet. Of course, one thing else to remember is that often families want to use this product, and they want to have their kids not have adult content, etc. There is what we jokingly call a daddy bypass or a mommy or adult bypass over here. So IPs can be added in where the category blocking is not applied to it and logging is not done too. So there are those two features as well. So the reason you might want to do that is in a household where there is Netflix, etc. going on, you put everybody onto the same enforcer profile, you bypass the adults in the environment, etc. Typically, businesses wouldn't want this bypass. You would want your content filter to run across your organization. You wouldn't want to put your company at risk by bypassing the content filter. But again, it's freedom, allowing your clients to know where their bandwidth is going and to control and define what they believe is clean internet. So yeah, that's pretty much the demo. Please do enjoy logging on here yourself and pull reports and play around. It is, as it says on the top here, demo, so no changes are actually saved. But so please go ahead and experience our end user Enforcer portal login.